Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Morid. And poor rich kids get their money off on it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the goods. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We on the smash now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah. Build a land. get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Drive. Blood eye, and we travel. Woo. That's my child. Blood eye, and we travel. Hit him with the high, yeah. Sharing no haka from Virginia. Yeah. I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I've passed the test. We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere. Heal the land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Drive. Blood eye, and we travel. Woo. That's my child. Woo. Blood eye, and we travel. Heal the land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Hit him with the high, yeah.
Yeah, peace to the party. It's your homeboy reporting live. Hey, I missed y'all, man. I know Matt feel the same way. We've been doing what we normally do in preparation for the Sunday service. And I gotta keep it real with y'all, man. So last week was on me. The reason why we ain't had a show. So let me give y'all a little insight how this whole content business, whatever you want to call it. Let me give you a little insight to how it works. So it's all about so-called networking and meeting people, relationships, all that stuff. So the weekend was ultimately unsuccessful, you know what I'm saying, for the main purpose. But then, from an autonomous view, you gotta always include yourself on why things don't go right, and you gotta analyze and you gotta create a plan. You gotta use that as a lesson, right? And the number one lesson that I just was reaffirmed is, we ain't meant for everybody, bro. We just need to do our thing. If you autonomous and you rock with us, man, we appreciate y'all. And that's what we building with. Everybody else, they'll come in due time if the big God, if the ancestors put it together for us. Because ain't nothing more important than being here with y'all, rocking out, doing what we do. Really mean that. Hey, so appreciate all the support, all the likes, the subscribers. Man, we over 20,000 subscribers. To go from a time to where we used to be on here and post videos, bro, and get 5 views on them and no likes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand what that. Some of y'all out here are content creators, right? And y'all do y'all so y'all can feel what I'm saying. And then others, you may not get it. But it's a very big thing when you put yourself out there, especially on this type, because we could be doing a lot of other things when it comes to content creation, especially if it was all just about making money. You feel me? If it was all about just making money, then we can go on here, and this is what a lot of the people out here, what I seen with my own eyes, they really just exploiting people to be in front of the big cameras, the big stage, hoping that they can turn something out of it, bro. And it done brought out some of the worst in us, and it just accelerating an already slow decline, already noticeable decline that was predestined for us. Those of us, we know this. That's why we got to be energized. You may not be a vocal person. You may not be an orator. That may not be your thing, but there's plenty of other ways that we could participate in pushing this information forward, because we know it's the truth. We know it's what's needed. You feel me? So, and then whatever creators you support who do give this type of information, we ain't trying to bash nobody or bang on nobody. It's no secret that the autonomous party don't get along with everybody. You feel me? But we never go and start nothing. We just finish it. And I just leave that there. But whoever you support, genuinely support them, because this type of media, independent media that has some type of thought behind it, some type of purpose behind it, is very rare. And I'm just keeping it real. But with that being said, so a lot of things that we do and we bring to the show, we tested on social media to get ready for Sunday, right? So two things caught my attention this past week that happened. The first was the NAACP boycott brought together by the Democrats, Congressional Black Caucus, NAACP, the usual suspects, right? So I'm gonna play this video I put on social media, and I got some commentary for y'all. So I dropped this short clip on Facebook. Check this out. First thing, we the stupidest people on the planet, bro. And I can't lie, some of y'all is. I ain't even gonna hold you. But with that being said, here we go again. These folks are so desperate that they using kids as political leverage, bro. So the NAACP and the Congressional Black Caucus then teamed up to do another week-ass boycott. But this time, they want to boycott all the successful state-funded schools, because they said boycott state-funded school, but they only name the big names, right? Because it's a whole bunch of colleges in the South that's state-funded, HBCUs included, but they ain't want to talk about that one. So they want to attack state-funded schools and say our Black kids should not go there until the state where they go to school change. Who finna be grinding all summer trying to get these offers, they gonna be looking and getting ostracized by their own people because it's supposed to be a so-called boycott. Man, that shit dumb as hell, bro. These folks can make life-changing money at these colleges you telling them not to go to right now. But they not supposed to do it because y'all future is in danger. Y'all being Black Democrat politicians in the South, now their job is on the line. Hey, say in any other job in the world, if you've been there a long period of time and we cannot judge and measure your results in a positive way, your ass getting fired. What make y'all different? What make y'all believe that y'all just deserve the Black American vote and you ain't did shit in 50, 60 years? I mean, you can get them other suckers, but there's a lot of us who on game and we ain't going, bro. Get your shit together. Boy, when I tell y'all, it's on everything I love. You can go, y'all know my real name, Monte Montgomery. You can go look on Facebook, okay? And check this post. Man, these people was talking. So I've openly been saying on my social media that I am definitely putting out content that I believe in, and I am checking the analytics and I'm seeing what worked, what hit the most, and what don't, right? Any racial topic is out of there. As long as you can stand the heat, it's gonna do well. But the analysis that I always get is people who never talk to me, because a lot of times when a post like that start doing numbers, it's well outside of your usual fan group. Like it's on all of Facebook now, right? So it's people who don't generally know you that are commenting things. So man, getting called everything under the book, a coon, the stupidest nigga alive. Boy, I'm talking about going crazy. Now, the whole premise behind why they're mad is because the NAACP said we should boycott the Black athletes who are about to go to these schools and get millions of dollars on the high end and even on the low end, because I went and did the numbers. So they're telling Black football players, that's really who they're talking to, but really football and basketball players, to not go to the Southeastern Athletic Conference. If you don't know sports, the SEC dominates sport because they're the best at football. Now it's opening up more, but for the past couple of decades, everybody know the SEC been doing what they do, right? So now kids getting paid. On the low end, they gonna see 100 bands a year. People who not stars. The stars gonna make the millions. But between the different branches, they got profit sharing from the school. They get, if they name popping, they get an NIL deal. Then they getting, you know what I'm saying? They get multiple checks. So it amounts to around 100,000 a year on the low end for a player who's not a star. So you telling them to turn down this money for their family, get this education, even if they never go pro. That's money that the average American making like $40,000 a year, bro. So the NAACP brought ideas to tell them, hey, do not take them opportunities. Okay, that's one thing, but don't take it because you're gonna lose your right to vote. because those states are taking away black people right to vote, when that whole premise is a lie. And it's folks who are saying, I don't care if it's a lie. Let's just boycott. So you want them to sacrifice for something that's based on a lie, and you wonder why the youth do not want to listen to older people. That makes zero sense. You feel me? This is how we look out here. We look ridiculous, and these people is leading us into this shit. Remember, history, politics, all of this goes hand in hand. You don't get one without the other. Toss in the religion, you got the trifecta. It just is what it is, right? So not being politically weak is the same as being historically weak. People gonna always play with you because you don't understand. You're not rooted in nothing. You feel me? So to me, it's disrespectful how they'll come out here and call for somebody else. You supposed to be the leader. Since when do the leaders tell other people what they supposed to sacrifice? You the leader, bro. Y'all do something. You feel me? But they not about to do anything because this was all just theatrics, because they know good and well the black folks, the right ain't been taken away. Y'all just was voting, bro. In Atlanta, a black woman run the Democratic primary for governor, Keisha Lance Bottoms. You think black people didn't vote for that? Like, come on. We looking delusional out here, bro. So when somebody say something, these folks were so mad in the comments. I'm not lying. A dude Facebook called me. He did the Facebook Messenger call, video call, and so-called take it upon himself that he's gonna check me for the black community. I'm not lying. You feel me? This is how idiotic these people sound. You feel me? And we sitting back like everything is a joke in the game. They can get you so riled up off of a lie that you willing to go crash out. You seen just the other day at the White House, they got another black man that they said was targeting Trump. Y'all don't see how we being framed, bro? But it ain't all a lie though, because this random black man just took it upon himself to call me and threaten me. You feel me? Never, straight from Facebook, when they tell you the internet is not real, we've been trying to tell y'all that's a lie. The internet is very real. You feel what I'm saying? And it's another, the technology space, this new tech revolution is another one that we falling way behind on. We just using it to further get triggered and play games and really not take full advantage. Like, I really be disgusted. So when I say what I say, I'm standing on what I say, because I got a PhD in nigga shit. Well, I done seen it all. So I know I don't, too many excuses that we be giving each other and ourselves. You feel me? When the real deal is, boy, we getting played on the center stage, we look ridiculous. Our ancestors would be ashamed. It just is what it is. So that really, I just want y'all to see this what it's like. If you decide that you want to be that person, speak on certain things, you know what I'm saying? Best believe it's not finna be received with open arms. That's not how this go. But some of us built for it. You feel me? So that was the first day. So I hit him. So look, this was fresh off me coming off the plane, coming back from that event I told you. So I full of energy, dropped that. I said, man, okay. So then the Trump IRS settlement hit. I said, oh, I'm about to double up on it, man. Drop this on the book too. So check this. I'm gonna play this video. We're gonna do the commentary. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all, this is much more important than this NAACP. This is actually groundbreaking. That NAACP, that did some BET hip hop shit. Check this out. Imagine being so ignorant and green to how America really works that you up here cheering for the IRS. Boy, you can't make this shit up. So Trump sued the IRS. He was going for like 10 billion, right? So they just settled. A settlement agreement was just reached. And the way the narrative is being spun is crazy. So basically, they settled and said that, hey, they ain't gonna never go after Trump for anything in the past. They not looking at anything that got to do with Trump, his family members, any of his trusts, businesses, you name it. All right. So he done beat these folks, the IRS. Okay. And the headlines is, well, he created a fund for the January 6th rioters. Boy, this don't got nothing to do with the January 6th rioters. The fund, what it says is that they create a panel so that any American who wants to file a grievance against the IRS can submit to this panel for review. Any American.
is what they said. So the news spun it because, yes, January 6th riders, they could participate because they are part of the Indian Americans. This shit common sense, bro. But here go the part that people should really be talking about. Why would you ever cheer for the IRS when they are literally extorting us and robbing us blind? This is why knowing history is very important. So this revenue service, this internal taxation wasn't even a thing until right before the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln started it. It was supposed to end right after the Civil War. It ended up ending shortly after 1870s. Go fact check it, right? So nobody in America was feeling the fact that y'all finna charge me to make money in America. Guess what? Before the creation of the what we know to be the IRS, which was created in 1913, okay, everything that funded the federal government was through tariffs. The same thing right now that people is acting like is the worst idea in America. When whole time America itself used to be fully funded off of tariffs. Income tax would have never passed against your average everyday citizen. Okay. But we sitting here cheering for people who are not a part of the original Constitution. The IRS is not a part of the Constitution. It was only able to be created through an act of Congress, the 16th Amendment, bro. Okay. You need to know your history. So instead of, hey, tapping into this and be like, well, damn, the IRS supposed to be this big bad boogeyman, but if they had Trump nailed to the cross the way they were saying, well, shit, why they ain't go with they move? Why they ain't going to end his whole career, right? You supposed to not play with the IRS whole time. The IRS is fraudulent organization. So a lot of y'all love to go conspiracy theory, right? You can go Google this information and quickly realize that the IRS was not a part of the original Constitution. This was brought in through a political move by the Democrats. Ain't that some shit? The Democrats stay with their hand in the cookie jar. But don't argue with me. Go argue with history.
Hey, so my number one goal when it comes to politics, boy, I ain't gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I gotta shit on the Democrats every chance that I get because they are the ones who really changed everything in America, bro. Well, okay, nah, I'm tripping. No, I ain't gonna say that. When it comes to the way of going to a federal system, that was 100% by the Democrats. Okay, they wanted the federal system. Now, other things changed in America, obviously, but really, they was a byproduct of that because that changed the way the whole country is ran. You feel me? Took away the states' rights, took away everywhere that was already successful and booming prior to the Civil War. Why they ain't need no IRS? It's not a coincidence that the IRS did not come until after the Civil War, right? Come on, we know this, we historians. But these folks on social media, they have no idea who they dealing with. So they be responding with such ignorance. They telling me I don't know history. But on this one, they ain't had that much to say because this was a lot of them genuinely, some people, and I appreciate when folks be genuine that just came and was like, man, I really didn't even know this. And instead of trying to have this air about them when they know for a fact they never listened to nothing like this before. But they ain't speak much on this as they did on the NAACP video. But let's talk about why this is major. A lot of y'all already know. I know y'all gonna be hitting in on this. Peace to shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hey, make sure everybody hit the like button on the way in. Get the stream share. Y'all get settled in. We know we finna go in today. All right, yeah. Shout out to everybody. Peace to the party. Yeah, so this is where we at. There, perfect. Put me right on track. The 13th through the 17th Amendment. So now, since Trump been in office, don't you find it suspicious that these are these 13 through 17 has come up all the time. Trump is challenging things, referencing this as legal precedent all the time. You think that's a coincidence? You think that you know he got them Jew lawyers, right? We tell the truth about him too, right? He still. So you think they don't know this when they come on, bro? We are watching political, yes. And this dude, bro, man, put your feelings to the side. Let's break down what he just pulled off. Let's get this document up here, bro. So knowing what we know about the IRS, you cannot tell me how this is not major. So this is the settlement that he had with the IRS. So once again, quick recap for those of y'all who never heard it. Trump sued the IRS because they leaked his tax information. Remember when they was talking about his tax information before? Obviously, that's illegal. Trump got him on the hook. He sued him for 10 billion, 10 B's. Okay. They settled. Number one, which tell you a lot. The IRS settled with this man. Now, if he been so-called this tax fraud person all this time, the last person he would want to take to trial is the IRS, right? And they settled with him. And in the settlement, they got to apologize. And they are spending 1.8 billion. It's 1.7, 1.8, somewhere around there. But it's not coming to Trump or any Trump company, affiliate, none of that. It's going to a fund. It's called the Anti-Weaponization Fund. So it's basically anybody who's an American citizen. If you feel like you have been targeted legally by it's multiple government agencies included. If you feel like you've been targeted by them, you can file a claim. If your claim is proven by a 5-person panel, you get monetary awards as long as you kill your lawsuit. And the IRS being one of those agencies who you can have a case against. So he just got, as a sitting president, on the record that it's possible that you may need to get a remedy from your government for legal claims or lawfare against you or your people. And we sitting here, the first thing, and the news is very clever. Y'all got to give media, these folks, they know that they are programming dummies. So they're very clever in their timing and where they do. So immediately they know they got to get in front of this because this is major, but they got to have a spin on the ASAP. So the spin from the popular media was, this money is for the January 6ers. I said, boy, people, and folks really believe that. So here go the document right here. And y'all can easily just Google this and go get the document. Just literally put it in Google, it'll pop up. It's not hard. Department of Justice, this is all public information. Okay. So they were saying, a lady said to me, she said, oh, well, that ain't nothing. That's just Trump. Trump being Attorney General, Trump the IRS, Trump this, Trump. So basically saying Trump is everybody, so he can settle on behalf of the IRS because he is the president. I said, oh, man, we dealing with some people who don't even understand the basics of government, bro, who are parents and legal professionals and all. It is really crazy because when you go to this document, and I'm gonna go to the end real quick just to show you what they say right there. They say the CEO of the IRS. And this is a newly appointed position, and Trump created it. So Trump created a CEO position at the IRS. That's very interesting because for those of us who know, the IRS is not a real government entity, right? It was not part of the original pillars of government. It was something that was created. So it's technically the name gives it a government organization, but it's not. I'm sure y'all have heard several people break that down, right? So then now Trump is the one who brought in to say, hey, we finna call this, we're gonna have a CEO position here, bro. But Buddy signed it. I just wanted to see y'all signed it. He signed it, Attorney General signed it, and then it's Trump them people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's all here what it is. It's very simple. It's only a couple pages, like 9 pages, the whole entire document. It's a real quick read. But essentially it is literally saying, so when they say that the January 6 people would be able to apply, that is true because they are American citizens. So if they go and say, hey, them folks targeted me and they persecuted me in the law and they ain't really do nothing, shit, they got all their right to go and do it. The same way you have the same right if you feel like they attacked you in a way. Oh, you was wrongfully convicted and targeted by the government and you served 20 years. Shit, you know what I'm saying? So many claims are available, but you got a sitting president who admitted a fund like this even needed to exist. You feel me? Steady building on top of this whole 13th through 17th Amendment challenges. He done brought up the 14th. Now we steady having talks about the 15th. All of them Reconstruction amendments is really some of the biggest problems still in America to this day, right? The 13th Amendment is the incarceration. Like, bro, we just got to keep it real and understand when sometimes we get in the alley-oop to be able to use for ourselves and we really trying to look the other way. and let people think for us. That's really a weak approach. But hey, look, like always, man, definitely appreciate y'all being tapped in with us this Sunday service. You know what I'm saying? It's a holiday weekend, so I know people moving around. I appreciate the ones who came and tapped in. For the others who gonna catch it on the replay, you know, definitely consume this one in totality. It's one you may want to watch back a time or two. Right? But the Gullah Man's quiet ready, so we're gonna go to a little entertainment. And I see we got Mac them pulled up, got everything ready to go on with this lecture. Hey, everybody needs a good friend. Look at this. This is my ghetto commercial. You hear me? So, hey, don't forget about, for those of y'all who've been tapped in, estate planning, how important it is right here. Check us out. You can get a free consultation through our partnership with My Trusty Friend. You'll more than likely be getting set up by Diana, member of the Autonomous Party. For all your estate planning needs, it won't hurt to get a free consultation and get you some game. I'm sure you'll find the value to want to move forward. But hey, look, we're going to take it over, take a break real quick, send it to the Gullah Man's Choir. We're going to come back. We're going to get to it. So we're talking about them hidden nations. We're going to talk about them Geechees today, man. We got to talk about the Gullah Geechee Coast. All right, so take it over. Gullah Man's Choir, and we'll be back, bro.
Mama said the land remember every name. Even the ones they tried to bury. We still here. Granddaddy worked the dock till his hands turned stone. Taxed every check, most of his money all gone. City Hall smiled when election time closed, then vanished when the schools and the pipes all broke. We learned survival before we learned peace, trying to feed souls on a paycheck lease. Everybody tired but nobody speak, like we scared of the truth once it cut too deep. Neighborhood heroes all trapped in smoke. Politicians shake hands while the people go broke. Every 4 years it's the same damn hope, then back to division and survival mode. Somewhere the ancestors calling, through the noise, through the falling. Can you hear them through America? Oh, can you hear them at all? Marooned in America, still paying for the war, building empires for everybody else, while our people stay poor. Marooned in America, lost out here in plain sight. Our ancestors survived the fire. Don't let the bloodline die. Don't let the bloodline die. Great grandmother prayed through the winter rain, held the family tight through the fear and pain. Now the babies grow up not knowing their names, only knowing that in designer chains. We turn pain into a marketplace, turn heartbreak into an algorithm race. Everybody performing, nobody's safe, smiling online while the soul decay. Oh, and the land still tall when the night gets still. You can feel that grief on the old dirt hills, like the past ain't gone. It just changes skin. Now the chains look clean, but they sink right in. Maybe the prison never had walls. Maybe the chains got hidden and lost. Maybe we traded memory for comfort. Maybe we stopped answering the call. We inherited survival, but forgot what survival was for. In America, still And somewhere the ancestors still waiting on us. Grandmama said the water holds secrets. Papers change, but the soul still speaks. Everybody loud now, nobody rooted. Whole generation hurting, acting like it's music. Gold chain shining, but the eyes look tired. Everybody online, but the spirit unplugged. Mama kept photos inside the old Bible. Faces half faded, stories gone silent. Somebody crossed oceans, somebody crossed swamps. Somebody got renamed, still the bloodline strong, yeah. Keep it Geechee, even when the world changed on me. Oh, keep it Geechee, river water run deep in me. Smoke in the air, choir in the distance. Old songs living inside my spirit. Hey. Keep it Geechee, don't let them rename your soul. Keep it Geechee, some things deeper than we told. Spanish moss hanging, heavy by the roadside. Church shoes tapping on the old wood floors. Women still humming songs without names. Now men still praying low behind closed doors. Maybe that's a Bible, maybe that's the proof. We forgot the story, but still carry the truth. Creole hands cooking straight from memory. Funny how the rhythm still live naturally. Hey, keep it Geechee, even when the world changed on me. Oh, keep it Geechee, river water run deep in me. Yeah. Smoke in the air, choir in the distance. Old songs living inside my spirit. Hey, keep it Geechee, don't let them rename your soul. Keep it Geechee, some things deeper than we told. The river still remember. Even if we don't pay, they changed the papers, couldn't kill the rhythm. Change the language, couldn't stop the feeling. I don't need permission to know who I am. I can feel the truth moving through the drum line. Every church clap, every back row, every old soul fishing by the tide flow. Maybe we ain't lost, maybe we just scattered pieces of a memory too strong to shatter. So I keep the candles lit, keep the choir strong, keep the old stories living inside my soul. Keep it Geechee,
Yeah. You got to keep it Geechee, man. You feel me? Hey, so we live. You see what it is, the hidden nations behind the Gullah Geechee Coast. We're gonna tap in, Matt. Look like you ready. Let's run it.
Yo,
Tap in.
keeping the Geechee, man. Keeping the Geechee, man.
You
know what I'm
guys
talking about? What's up, y'all? First off, you know what I'm saying? What up, Monte? First, what's up, dog? Good?
What's up with it, bro? Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Man, it's been a couple of weeks, y'all. You know what it is. Like Monte said to you earlier, we've been busy the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean? I was on the road the week before that. And that's the week that's gonna happen in a year sometimes. You heard me? But then Monte came down here for, like he told you. You heard me? Networking and part of this social media networking thing we do, and everything don't always go right, but we're gonna keep it Geechee though. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We're gonna keep it, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. At the same time, because that's the harsh reality. See, is to live life autonomously, and that was an autonomous move that Monte made. You see what I'm talking about in the first place? So I'm behind it no matter how things fall. That's keeping it Geechee, by the way. You know what I'm talking about? You see, Maranatha. See, Maranatha. You know what I mean? Everything, when they say kumbaya, I think people take that out of context because it's like, even when things, you got to deal with living out righteous decisions, Maranatha. You got to deal with living out righteous decisions. That's keeping it Geechee, Maranatha. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Kumbaya. You know what I'm talking about? My Lord. At the end of the day, though, you know, I appreciate everybody tapped into it. Memorial Day weekend. And I know, shout out to all, you know, Memorial Day weekend's tied to the military. Am I right, Monte? Am I tripping? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. You know, shout out to my pops and everybody that served and everything. Got no disrespect for that. You know, it's part of our heritage of a lot of our Black families that somehow or another got somebody that served in some type of war on his land. Ain't that something?
We've been in all of
them. Yeah, ain't that something? They say, oh, you guys are African. Boy, they don't know how many wars you got to fight in to be American, ain't it?
Hey, I'm just saying.
And not even the ones that do that, but you got part of the same family that didn't fight in the war and be like, man, we don't fuck with the government. We don't at all. See, we the only one. I'm not gonna say we're the only one because I see white Americans got that same thing in common.
They got it too.
Those who don't work for the government and their family, and those who are on some outlaw rebellious.
They got some anti-stuff. They really may have been, like, to be real, we got to give them a credit. They really been saying that. To be like, they had a sector of them that's been saying that.
Everything, yeah. Even though they wanted to keep us as the labor, I would say that too. Now, yeah. They would
love because it's about who benefits who.
Manifest destiny. What happened?
Yeah, because it's about who benefits who. Like, it would be beneficial for who want to volunteer to be on the bottom of a caste system.
I'm trying to figure that out. Like, I mean, every system has a bottom. Every system has a top. You know what I'm talking about? I try to balance it out. You know, I try to be in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? Like Moni. But at the same time, you know, it's if I get to the top, I'm great. But I definitely don't want to be at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that as a maroon American. You know what I mean? Knowing what, because I got both sides. You know what I'm saying? From poor to some people being good off. Some people, my family ain't. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the reality of most people, Americans, and you know what I mean, decisions they made, living out these righteous decisions. And some of them might not be good. Some people might call them coons and sellouts. You know, at the end of the day, we all know we all marooned in America though too at the same damn time. You know what I mean? If you look like me, whatever mixture your background may be, ancestrally, you know what I'm saying? And that's the genesis or ethnogenesis that we all have to take in and deal with, you know what I mean? But again, it's your boy Mac Eighth. I said all before I even said my name. It's the ether. We want to eat the algorithm, you know what I mean? And we give you some rhythms too. Shout out to the Gullah Mass Choir, you know what I'm talking about? The autonomous party, the harsh reality is live life autonomously. You know, G Mac, Gullah Mac, you know what I mean? Hey, Monte, since somebody said, hey, G Mac, why you do it like that? The other day to me. And I said, oh, I like, he was saying, you know, oh, G golly, bud, how you doing, guy? You know what I'm saying? He said, oh, G Mac. But I was like, and like he said it, he wasn't saying it like, you know, G Mac, but he was saying like, you know, how people say things. See, that's how wording works in this situation. But I liked it because it was like, you know, oh, golly, G.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, well, damn, G Mac, why you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, G Mac, man, short for Gullah. You heard me? Yeah. So shout out to my Gullah folk, my Maroon folk, my Indigenous folk. You know what I'm talking about? My Blackamoor folk. You know what I'm talking about? Because of the Cummins. I know some of y'all that be on the Hebrew Israelite be tapping into us too. I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Hey,
about.
that's
Everybody
cool.
that's tapping in, man, tied to the black communities, they label us reclassified. You hear me? And we all researching, unified in that manner, no matter if we divided on how we look at things or what culture or what religion or whatever you might tie yourself to today in the ethnogenesis of America. But overall, we understand certain things we have in common. You know what I'm talking about? The genesis of it in America. The genesis. I brought it back. See, y'all thought, because 2 weeks ago when I showed you this book, but you know, I knew I wasn't only going to get into a certain point of it, and it needed to be understood first, because I brought this book out many a times, and you know, as we go through, as we gave you that Creole soul, you know what I mean, that Creole soul, and as other joints we've been dropping. Shout out to the Gullah Mass Choir again. The context of it is, you know, Monte was like, man, we need to go ahead and drop off these files, these autonomous files we got on the colonial side of things and what happened in America and the mixtures and the everything that's going on with it. Because we could break down one side, to break down this side, but we got to make it like the gumbo, bit, like, you know what I mean? That people might call it Creole food, a gumbo. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to show how we the gumbo today. You know what I'm talking about? And why, you know, our food the best in America, by the way. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like that. We the best in America. Ain't no raisins in our potato salad. You know what I'm talking about? At the same time, over there in any other country, I ain't gonna lie. You know, I've been. I think we still got the best food. The people they call Black American.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. We season our shit. Hey, at the same time though, I appreciate everybody that's tapped in. They live with us Memorial Day Sunday. You know, I hope you're enjoying your long weekend. You know what I'm talking about? But let's get to it though. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know, I ain't gonna lie, because it's been a long week for me too. Let me say this too, matter of fact, real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, run it.
You know, we've been doing something down here since y'all ain't seen us, and we've been real busy. Clubhouse, wherever you see it, social media. You know what I mean? I myself, the party, you know what I mean, and others that are tied to Baron P. Super Blaze, you heard me? By the way, I always try to get, because sometimes y'all watch this from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? How we started with the mix show. You know what I mean?
Blaze
Blaze
with the DJ, live DJ.
Yeah, live DJ. He on the radio now, 96.9. Shout out to him. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Blaze, bro.
Blaze, man. Blaze, you know what I mean?
He really a fire DJ too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he actually
they gonna
got the
find
art
out.
of it.
They about to find out that, because now, see, we did that assembly during the pandemic. That was the pandemic pack. I'm gonna call it the pandemic pack. Whoever's smoking out there, margaritas and reefer, call it the pandemic pack when you watch it. You heard me? It was obviously because we used to run. You know, I used to run through the campaign. We used to run the lounge of a hotel bar. You know what I mean? In a black neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And basically, you know, plantation. Damn, Mac on a plantation? Yeah. I was on some maroon shit, running up on plantations, throwing parties at night, and then going back in the daytime and laying down. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in the hill. It's like I ran down from the hill into the plantation, got some money at night, and then ran back to the hill. You see what I'm saying? For everybody that's in 954, they will understand that terminology. But however the case, yeah, you know, I was for 8 years actually. I did that for 8 years. That's a long maroon trail, huh? However, yeah, we was doing, you know, Blaze was with me back then. Shout out to all the DJs I know, promoters I know, and everything. We was running a bar 7 days a week. Pandemic stopped all that. We decided to do the show on a Sunday, because that's the only day we were like, we got to do something, get out of the house, because, you know what I mean? We was doing Sundays. We used to always be together on Sundays, no matter what, anyways, because of where we used to be at. So, you know, it's crazy where we, like you said, though, too, I want to address that we took that concept of that and went into the pandemic and decided to do a mix show / you know, historical builds and stuff like that, interviews, through the campaign, the T with the A, the autonomous, and then we needed a party, and you can't have a campaign without a party. You know what I'm saying? So the concept of it came about, the autonomous party, and we evolved with all the heritage and history and the mixtures we all got, and was able to attack it from a certain point with the music involved in our culture. You know what I mean? The urban culture. You know what I mean? Most of us know about. And I think we did a pretty good job now that we had 20K. I appreciate that very well, that everybody organically, without us doing certain things, you know, to promote it and certain things. But, you know what I mean? We definitely, y'all tapped in, y'all subscribed, y'all like, you don't like, whatever the case might be. We here at 20K. So I got to give a Maranatha salute to all of y'all, by the way, on Memorial Day weekend.
You feel me?
You heard me? I got to give love to that number of love, Maranatha. So yeah, let's get to it though, man. But with that being said, let's get to it. You heard me? Let's get to it. So, yo, last week, you know what I'm saying? I mean, last week. See, I'm trying to talk to y'all like I was a couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm talking about? But it's Sunday service. So, King Charles II, we were talking about dealing with, I mentioned it, if you go back to the last joint we did, dealing with Carolina, you know what I mean? And we're going to do all the other states too, as we gather the information for each area and how the name came about, like Mississippi, you know what I'm talking about? And all these different areas, New York, everything. We're going to go into all these places. But King Charles II, Carolina, and the Royal African Company, historical timeline and institutional connection. See, so we're going to slide down. Because this is what, if y'all watched the last joint we did, I'm going to say it like that on Sunday service. I'm just trying to give you a little something because this is connected. It's connected. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? So I'm smoothing it. So before I go to the next colony, I want to give y'all some backdrop live. You know what I mean? So most of this stuff will be because we have been busy with the hospitality side over here at Provident Market. But we're getting ready to drop a lot of this stuff that we can't give you live, at least the sub parts in Patreon. So make sure you subscribe. 1660. The restoration of Charles II, got to give you some, you know, because they're the ones colonizing, as people would say, Creole. You know what I mean? Charles II returned to the English throne after the restoration. You know what I mean? We got black folk in America saying they want to be restored right now. They call it reparations, right? But it says he later rewarded supporters through land, grants, and charters. You know what I mean? So this is when people be tracing their heritage and how their names are tied to certain things. Then all that in context will come into play. We can keep sliding. You know what I mean? Charters.
All right, let's so for the people who ain't, because a lot of folks ain't really up on the European side. Like they don't know it as well as they may know, you know what I'm saying? So Charles II, he part of the Stuart lineage, right?
Yeah. He tied to the Stuarts, like Lee Cummins, you know what I mean, that we've gone over. You know what I mean? That's that Negro Question series we did with Lee. You know what I mean? The Stuarts, right? So he's tied to the Stuarts, right? And he's tied to you know, obviously Duke of York. You know what I mean? That's his brother, right? King James, who wrote the Bible. This is all connected. See what I'm saying? 1605, 1611, you know what I mean? Jamestown, all that right there. Go back to the original King James, who's tied to the Bible, but these people are tied to that lineage of that same person tied to that Bible, to that most black people in America, the KJV. You know what I'm talking about? That one right there. So this is why I want to put it in context that it need to be pointed out within all the things that's tied to it. You heard me? So, all right, slide.
All right, so this second bullet point though, his support. So people who was rocking with him, they got land and charters, right? Where they got some of their land at?
Oh, obviously
charters. Okay, so we establishing the precedent before we go. So they know, we know for a fact that he was granting lands.
Proprietors.
And so now they need a way to get over there, right?
Right. Okay. That part too. So when we look at this, you know what I'm saying? This right here is literally the that line right there. He rewarded. The last time we was talking to y'all, that was Lord Proprietors, the 8 Lord Proprietors. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they're the ones.
This is how they got put in position.
Got to put in position, and then also how they lost it. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't secure it because of all the things that was taking place in what they call the colony or Creole time frames of America's ethnogenesis. But we're gonna keep sliding.
All right, so we just set the flow.
Yeah, we're setting the flow. You know what I'm talking about? 1663, Carolina Charter. You know what I'm saying? Charles II granted Carolina to, see, I just said it to y'all. See, I'm ahead of y'all, but you know what I'm talking about? It's right there. See, I ain't gonna leave nothing out now. You hear me? Everything on the timeline. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Algorithm-wise, you know what I mean? The colony stretched southward towards Spanish Florida. And we showed y'all last time we was with y'all too, how all this area at one time that we called today Carolina, Georgia, you know what I mean, Alabama, going into Louisiana was considered Florida's, you hear me? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Shout out to serving of the Most High, man. We still on it, bro. I appreciate you. Okay, so yeah, you say so this is what you were just breaking down. So now he said, all right, it's gonna be 8 of y'all, 8 Lord Proprietors. These are your the servants of the Most High. You feel me? Appointed by Charles II. All right, so they say they got this area that they documented. This is the area that we got towards Spanish Florida. So this is the area where you're gonna get it, which we know today is the Carolinas, right, Matt?
That part.
Okay, so they walking with it. 1663.
Right.
This is still slavery time frame, right?
Obviously, they try to, as we showed it a couple weeks ago, some people get caught up in the 1619 project, as I mentioned, right? So on a timeline, Carolina, as we showed you, wasn't even established yet. The Lord Proprietor is not established yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's Florida that we're talking about, even though at that time frame, which is going to be tied to the person with the Bible, you know what I'm saying? 1605, I wrote it, KJV, that King James. It's going to be understand the Stewart line. That's going to be tied to that KJV and what they were trying to establish intentionally on a timeline. You can't, you know what I mean? Even though things are overlapping, when we go back to the origin of this right here, the original crown dealing with all this in America, they're not looking at it the same way. It's not the same.
Right.
You know what I'm talking?
Yep. All
right. So boom. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
So as you said, we shortly, quick and easy, right? Carolina, as we all know, became North and South, right? This is before United States of America even became known as the United States of America. This split is taking place because of what happened with the Lord Proprietors. You see what I'm saying? And how it had to be. And they were having distinctions at this point, delineations, jurisdictional issues, and how they want to deal with what was going on within the colony in these areas. So trade, etc., commerce, that we probably won't be able to drop all within the show tonight. But you know what I mean? I want to make sure that is in context. You heard me? So what's next? So yeah, again, Charles II supported the charter companies involved in the Atlantic trade. You heard me? I said these institutions evolved into larger systems connected to labor and colonial expansion. You heard me? So when I did the build and I was thinking I wanted to give y'all a layout when I do this, like the PowerPoints and shit, is because so y'all can have something to look at and frame it. So when you do your research, you understand the timeline and these events and things happening. You know what I mean? And the ethnogenesis on the algorithm. You heard me? Tap in. So this right here is why, you know what I mean, we got into a detailed, meticulous standpoint of, wanting to know the events and what the Crown is documented, because we've seen they have a lot of their information that has obviously been documented that they've done on these timelines. You know what I'm saying? And lawfully speaking, you know what I mean? Not just mythology, you know what I mean? Not the religion, just what the chartered situations can be traced back to and who did what. So however, institutions that you can go back and find. This is what you're researching. Founded things that nobody can say it didn't happen type shit. So next thing
that we know for a fact is a fact, historical fact. Now what comes into play is what these people, what their ethnicity is, but as far as it actually happening, it happened.
That part.
And so we making our own deductions based on certain things that we know. Right?
That part.
Okay, so let's talk about this, Max. So we went through this. Like we've had actual internal debates to figure out and research sessions to figure out what does this actually mean right here when they say African trading company, because it's very deceptive in title, right?
I mean, but the Royal African
you start doing the research, it look a little different than. So let's lay the baseline. So for one, let's talk about Africa when they say for the fact that at the time, the whole purpose of them using Africa was the amazing port system. Africa and the way it was situated to launch into other places. Yes.
The trade routes that people or the Europeans saying that they went on, not people always focus on people, you know what I mean? But before any slave trade been going on, people been getting, going
for a very long time.
Long time.
It ain't even just a slave trade. A slave would just be another commodity in trade. Trade, period. It wasn't created for people.
Right. A person becoming property is just along with all the other commodities that are now able to be traded and sold within the trade system. See what I'm saying?
And it's the hardest commodity to sell.
To control. It's the biggest today. Having employees is the biggest liability for most companies today in their own cities.
So imagine you got to capture the niggas and make them work.
That makes it worse.
Man, come on now.
I'm trying to make these dudes. I got to watch them around the clock. I got to make sure they eat and they ain't sick.
Man,
and they ain't trying to kill
them. I'm taking them to a new place, that place I ain't even been.
I don't know sometimes. I let that be. However the case, in my psyche of it, when I think about it, I'll be like, they make it like we some docile, and you see the day we ain't. You know what I'm saying? So
no people is going for that. I don't care if they white. I don't care if they Mexican. You're not kidnapping people from
maybe
the place.
he is though, politically speaking, but
mentally. Yeah,
You
because
might be
hey,
politically,
hey,
you
you
know.
ever seen that? You ever seen that meme? It's like an elephant that's tied to a small chair.
Mm-hmm.
That's us. You feel? We got all the power in the world, but the fact that we think so small and tied to certain shit, it just throws us off our whole claim. And it all start with this. It start with we was created victims from this shit right here. Whole
Mm-hmm.
time though, them boys ain't name it Royal African Company because they was coming to go get some Africans, bro. The African port system was essential for any
Well, as a matter of
European
fact,
trying to
we're gonna
launch
do that.
themselves.
We're gonna do that too. I just really got to make sure that because this is something that people argue about today a lot since you said that. And a matter
Yeah,
of
we gotta
fact,
talk about this
talking
shit.
all this, they just gonna get mentioned tonight in a very. We got to make sure King Charles II. This is what he's
Yeah.
tied to. And when people be like all the time when the conscious community saying, "Oh, this word African, Jesse Jackson," oh, this word, oh, well, when you go to the origin of a chartered organization tied to a crown, King Charles II is the one who set up the Royal African Company. You know what I'm talking about?
100%.
And at that point, you know what I'm talking about? At that point, not only his chartered trading system, commodities, people, whatever you want to call it, Indians, West African, you know what I mean? Whatever you want to say, that is part of the trade system. You know what I mean? And the Royal African Company was labeling their slaves. DOY, though, funny enough. You be like, damn, man, DOY?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Duke of York.
Duke of York was the stamp put on the property
Yep.
of people who were being exchanged as a commodity on his behalf and working on behalf of him as property. So you would know that those people were his property. Like, that's some real shit now. It's out there. It's still out there. But look,
Hey.
at the same time, you know what I mean? The Royal African Company is where we get this word royal. Hold on, man. I heard you. I'll get my thought out real quick.
Nah, Cook, go ahead, Cook. You
The
good.
Royal African Company is the basis, though, funny enough, through the Carolinas, right? Charles II, right? We get the name tied to North America, Carolina, is tied to the Royal African Company, and that trade system is tied to, some folk that did come out of what we call the Western region trade system, dealing with certain commodities and brought them into the Carolinas. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's people who were already here that they were trying to obviously slave in the same kind of way for trade, you know what I mean, on their own land. You know, I'm talking about on exile in their own land. This would be the Indian slave system. You know what I'm saying? And that Indian slave trade system started first before they even thought about bringing anybody else into this area, funny enough. And a matter of fact, on top of that, it's interesting that Indian slave trade that took place, the term Negro and slave become very interchangeable because of the fact of the time frame, what we call the Occidental Day Negro. And I'm going to land there, which is tied to the Royal Company and his
exactly 100%.
All right, I could go in, but I'm trying to stay in contact. I can go.
No, I'm gonna feed you something to that same effect. So this was my thought process when I was reading through this. The understanding what made the most sense to me is 100%. Whoever, because even with Portugal, right, their whole strong point was having the ports in Africa. Because that's how they would ping pong themselves between places, get some goods from there, but then also navigate to other places from there because it wasn't just a straight shot coming from Europe. You know what I'm saying? So they've been playing their game. So that part always makes sense to me because militarily, that's why we got bases all over the world for that exact reason. You never know where you want to launch from. That's just a strategic, you know what I'm saying? And that all makes sense to me. So now when you get there, and now we realize that, damn, okay, they had to have the ports. But at the same time, that's why we established the floor of they needed some land had just been granted to people in America. And the reason why the Royal African Company is what everybody uses to prove the African slave trade. But the part that they leave out is, as conveniently, there's Europeans that you can go and document. Even when you go to slavevoyages.org, you not pulling Africans, bro. The names on there is real deal people from Europe. And they got that stamp on their chest because they was indentured to come over here and fill them colonies, bro.
Hey, man, there was a lot of people coming in to fill the colonies based on the trade system. It wasn't just the Negro being brought in, imported, and make, the terminology, I think, is throwing people off because they focus so much in today's propaganda on the Black American to make them feel not at home. You know what I'm talking about? Like, You know what I'm saying? Or some shit. I heard somebody say in the chat, foundational. You know what I mean? Like, man, we passed foundational, bro. We predate the foundation of the United States of America. What are you talking about?
We the soil, bro. We the one.
Like,
I like that term more than any of the other ones that people use, but we know it's deeper than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they at least going to the right, direction with their thought process.
I get you though. I'm gonna keep it Geechee.
Hey, but let's shout out to Servant of the Most High again. He said, "You right, my family been in the shout out for the super chat." He said, "You right, my family been in America, Burlington County, New Jersey, 1632, went down to Virginia, then to South Carolina, Edgefield, and then 1784, Cherokee Nation gave us land." Hey, look, I'm telling y'all, like, so, Matt, the whole Black European thing got way more weight to it than people understand, and you'll see the same migration pattern. They got to the Northeast. A lot of them didn't stay because it wasn't popping up there. Them colonies up there weren't hitting no shit. The South was where it was at, bro.
Hey, listen here. What people got to pay attention to is that's why we're giving you these regions the way we're talking about it. You know what I mean? Your families, how you see the counties, like he said, in areas they're in, going back to certain time frames. 1632, that predates the United States of America. You know what I'm talking about? You're talking about colonial time frames. Now, how can they gonna tell you if your ancestors been here from a time frame of when they say in certain manners? You can't contradict yourself now. At the same time, what was the mixtures and certain things and who you having sex with? You know what I'm talking about? Do you know?
Yeah.
Can you say that your 8th or 10th great grand, you know what I mean, didn't have children with somebody? Like, do you good, bad, or ugly of it? Cause y'all doing good, bad, or ugly.
That's just reality.
I'm not, right. All that other stuff, I ain't even. I'm not romantic or nothing about. I don't like that romance shit. You heard me? At the end of the day, at the same time, it's just like we gotta understand, like on some maroon shit, you gotta be like honest to yourself. You know what I mean about these things, thinking about it with the timeline involved, the algorithm. Before algorithm was even called, it was the timeline, but now we in the algorithm. So that's why this is about this right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, this is what that is. Piece of the party. You heard me? I see you in the chat. You heard me? Piece of the party. Maranatha. You heard me? Yeah, for sure. All right, 1672. We're going up the marker. See? I'm going to fill in some gaps, but I'm going to give you this lines because this is the last time I saw y'all. So I had to I had to catch myself up. You heard me, Monte? I was like, wait a second. Yeah. And I don't like to go back and look at the work like I'm like, you look gloat.
But this is important. This is the most important. Well, I ain't gonna say the most important, but this is one of the most critical time frames to this whole narrative and story, bro.
That part. I had to go back and think before I do this one so I can get y'all back on an algorithm we're getting ready to do going forward while we're gonna be interviewing certain people and who we reaching out to get on the show and Sunday service and vibe with us. However, 1672, Royal African Company. The Royal African Company, RAC, was chartered. It received monopoly rights over English trade on parts of West African coast. We just got to talking about, see? And this is the RAC became deeply involved in the Atlantic slave trade. So when people think about when you think about the 13 colonies and you think about the word African prefixed in front of somebody today in America, most likely from an understanding of the colonial time frames of that jurisdiction is where this word African comes into play. That goes into the Barbados. That goes into everywhere the British, we call the 13 colonies at that time, dealing with those crowns, are having jurisdiction of before United States of America. So that's why we got people like Prince Hall and them that came out of the Barbados, you know what I'm saying? And we're coming into Boston, you know what I'm talking about? And these things are, the trade system, like, evolved, you know what I mean? It's just the harsh part that they give us in this to make us feel a certain way insecurely is not showing you the real progression of what was taking place in history. So again, that's got to be stand out for a reason. But this is the root. Actually, Carolina has the root because of Charles and the name, and the Carolinas being named tied to him. He is tied to the Royal African Company, and your result of how that influenced before United States of America, way before Jesse, all right, way before even Prince Hall and them set up what we call, you know what I'm saying, the African Lodge. You know what I mean? And before, you know what I mean? All the people we've mentioned on the show, Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, dealing with the, other African Methodists, the AME, right? We done showed you where this word African is being used, the institutions. But where's the influence come from? You know what I mean? So we got to really get that right. You know what I mean? Yep. So outside of that, Charles, come here. He be popping in and like, you know what I'm saying? since you here.
I mean,
You are here.
how are you?
Don't let people know. Come here. Let them see who you is. Stop talking.
What's up, guys?
Oh yeah. What's up?
Shout out to
bro?
my man Chris Headshot. You heard me? Popped email on me right now. You heard me?
Now you see us live on the stream, y'all. You see how easy work.
Looks great.
We live with everybody that's right now. We live with about that many people. But
Do you want me to turn anything on?
no, I like it like this.
Okay. All right.
I just want tell them about the name of the spot and everything that you done did
all right.
all this work I done told people about.
All right, we're doing it. It's called Epic Podcast Studios. I'm charging $1,000 a month. And you get 4 podcasts inside of that.
Okay.
Each podcast can be between an hour and an hour and a half. So
All
that
right.
way we have space on both sides to be able to make sure I can move on to the next one.
That part.
If you buy in bulk, instead of paying $12,000 for the year, you can pay $10,000 and get 8 episodes for free.
Oh, you heard that? He said, I mean, when he said that, that's with all the camera, all the stuff,
All the gear and
all the
final
gear,
product made.
everything. It's like the full production, by the way. You know what I mean? Just let y'all know. Shout out to Chris. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, have a awesome.
Big business. It's big business.
For sure. You know what I mean? People popping
So
in.
for those of y'all who talking about content creation and understanding, this is real business. Yeah. That part.
That part.
All right, so yeah, Royal African Company. So okay. So let's set once again. We setting the flow, bro. So Royal African Company.
That part.
It's chartered. They are literally credited with when you go check anything to do with the transatlantic slave trade. Royal African Company is the one that they're using as the premise of all proof of African slavery. It's the most critical company to go and understand and study.
Yeah,
feel
it's literally that way. You know what I'm saying? And like in context of the Royal African Company, it's like, you know what I mean? That's what people got to really realize in what's going on in the origin. That's why Carolina in the Carolina Genesis, this book I got here. I know a lot of people got questions about, that the African American thing and where it really goes back to in the roots of our ethnogenesis of things. It's tied to this, King Charles. You know what I mean? And because it was Indians also put into that system tied to the RAC. You know that, right? The Indian slave trade is tied to the RAC too, being taken from out of the Carolinas, Georgia, and areas, and being brought into the Caribbean. Interesting enough. So, however, all that's in context of that. You know what I mean? I want y'all to know how that works. You know what I'm saying? So really pay attention to all the things we laying down with that. You know what I mean? But I just want to make sure that goes in context before we go in. Like, doing pretty good with the timing wise.
No, yeah, we good. We good.
I want to make sure I cover, you know what I mean?
So we got the RAC. We know it's created. We know they was the big dogs in the transatlantic slave trade. We're making sure we establish all this because we got to throw some haymakers in. Hold on. Let's see. What's next? Okay.
Carolina, the Atlantic Labor Networks. You heard me? Carolina plantation development required labor. You know what I'm saying? Charleston became a major Atlantic port. Trade connected Carolina with Caribbean and African networks. See what I'm saying? So, network. You know what I mean? There's a lot Lord proprietors, the Crown. So really, when people say, the Royal African Company, King Charles II set it up. You know what I'm saying? Well, wait a minute though. He gave a chart. He showed you how he gave and granted areas in America to the Lord proprietors to set up what we call today the colony that became known as Carolina. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, we were known by another colony, that crown, which is tied to Florida, right? Spanish, right? So we're showing you two different, even European, as they would call it, context, regional speaking, crowns, and what they're doing, trying to develop territorial trade network, etc., amongst indigenous people out of West Africa, and it's a trade system they need to set up now to get the shit from here to there, from there to there, based off of commodities. And it's going to be something that's going to come out of this, because you're going to have to ask yourself a question. Do you think that these people, the Europeans, just found out before anybody else this network of trade system. See, because if you take the humans out of it in the context, just look at the trade part. Are you saying that this trade part just started in 1492?
No way.
However, all right, because I don't think you're gonna tell me that the Europeans are the first people to make boats in any kind of way. Period. I don't care. I got to give credit to those empires.
Even in history, I don't think they label it as the very first with ships. But regardless,
that part.
Over time, shipping gets easier because technology advances. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that trade happened before 1492, but it wouldn't have happened in the amount, say that it happened in 1700, just by sheer fact that technology better. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So where we at right now?
So we talked about the networks being set up.
I was just showing it up.
We still setting the flow, basically.
Yeah, we setting the flow. You know what I mean?
All right. So with Duke of York, this was what we were just talking about earlier. He was the one to get the stamp. He's stamping his servants, his people, right? Letting them know this his folks.
That's why I told y'all to see, but it's here, right in your face right now, right? So Charles II brother, James, named after his ancestor, King James. That's not the same James, so don't be mixing them up now out there. Now, Duke of York, later named his second, was a major RAC figure. He big on that. That stamp that everybody be talking about in the pseudo community, sometimes they call it amongst us.
That's where they get this from.
This is where they get this shit from. See what I'm saying? The DOY stamp that's tied to this major figure, tied to Charles II, which is tied to Carolina, but he's the one up in New York where it used to be, New Amsterdam, now it became New York. You know what I mean? Because he took the Amsterdam off and put his name in part, Duke of York. You heard me? The Duke. I'm on some Baron B. Shout out to BSB. I ain't said the name. Can we come together now? I be seeing them all the time again. Shout out to BSB. Be back outside.
Hey, so let's be Duke of York.
Yeah.
What do he look like?
Well, I mean, let's see. That's the speculative part when we got with Lee Cummings that people want to debate about. Were these Black Europeans? Are they? Do they look like what we call it a Caucasian? You know what I'm saying? Coming out the region of Europe. I mean, what is the descriptions? We see certain things like Swarthy. You know what I mean? And some people will say, well, Swarthy meant it was just he wasn't blonde hair and blue eyed. Come on now, how many white people you know who don't have blonde hair and blue eyes? That's what they say.
A whole bunch of them.
Come on now, and we gonna play that game. So at the end of the day, we already showed y'all many a time Scotland, which the Stuart line is tied to, and the terms that they use within their crowns, what the word Swarthy was tied to: a Negro, a Blackamoor. In the time frame when Duke of York and they had this company called Royal African Company, the people who were being traded, actually they're not even calling them Africans. How about that? You know what I'm saying?
So this is right on time. He just asked Roderick Densley. I think that's Roderick Densley. Continents weren't called that at the time. America and Africa.
Right. Exactly. When you understand context of certain things in the timeline, you heard me? Like these words are not major, you know what I mean? Like colonial terms by the crowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was changed.
Africans because they got the Royal African Company. Just because they got the Royal African Company don't mean that the commodity is being called Africans. Within the labor systems, when you go research the Royal African Company, you're finding out how they're describing them a certain way and how their context with the names and everything tied to it, and also the descriptions they use at that time. You know what I mean? Latin, English, or whatever you want to go into. However, though, that DY branding is definitely something you can look up and it's there. We found that to be there. I'm not going to front of y'all, so I had to go ahead and put it there. It's there. You know what I'm talking about? That's a lot. Historical significance. We gave it a layout. This is the foundation of it. Let's go. Any more slides on this one? I think that should be it, right? Is there any more slides on this one? Give him that, dude. That's like the after fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For you to do your own research. But so real quick though, while we on this, so let's lay this synopsis out. So right now we got of the Stuart lineage. Okay, put skin color aside. It's already been long said, plenty of documentation to say what the Stuart lineage looked like. At the same time within the same generation time span of that family, where the Bible was authored, talking about having to make a move to a new place, basically. And to look out for this thing, that's essentially what the Bible, we know is being used as trust law, right, Matt? Law, right? Okay, so now Now the descendants of King James are furthering that estate plan. Shout out to Trusty Friend, which is you got to find a way and a place for our people to go, because this whole time, what's going on in England, in Europe rather, civil wars. The whole time it's civil wars. The same time this going on, you got the English civil wars happening, right? Mm-hmm. They beefing. Okay, so now the people beefing conveniently are expelled or lose their footing in these areas the same exact time that this trade is being offered all over the world. And then all of a sudden, these Black Europeans show up in these same places where they was trading at. And they're trying to say it has no connection to the Royal African Company.
None.
But that makes zero sense, because the same places that they're actually going. Okay, so do you remember? We was on Clubhouse and we went and talked about this, and we pulled up the documentation from the Lord proprietors saying that, and you can, this is easily Googleable. The Carolinas had more, they are calling it servants than white people, is what they were saying. So basically they were saying it was more Black people, is what they were trying to infer, than whites, which makes sense because white people did not bring anybody to this land, bro. Like, hey, listen.
Some white people weren't coming over doing no big people like that. Like, it was a chartered situation dealing with trade, and that trade system brought labor systems over. And then people who were at the top, within like the Lord proprietors' families that had plantation systems, were able to buy labor, no matter if it was someone from West Africa or somebody from North Africa, whatever. You know what I mean?
Or somebody from Europe, because everybody, there was a feudal system. If you're not rich, you're poor. So guess what? We finna give you a chance in America. You finna work this land in America. You're gonna have food to eat, because that's a problem in Europe, right?
Like prison,
and guess what? If you working hard enough, we'll give you your own land. You was never getting that in Europe.
Hey, listen here, man. It's a lot to that. We always try to go over that, but we gonna get them lost in the sauce and not on that one right now. You know what I mean? But yes, everything you said about that is, I agree with. Yeah, everything needs to be laid out that way. That there's more to it than what we've been told. Definitely. You know what I mean? It's I got something I want you to show them now before we go into the next part.
Oh, you want to do that video after this?
Yeah, I want to do the video first, and then I'm gonna give you the timeline over now that we did this like this.
All right, here you go. I got it.
You know what I mean? So we can all, before I go into the, because some people be sharing stuff. I don't like to share what they sharing. I want y'all to tell me what you think about what they sharing, so we can talk about what they sharing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And then I'm gonna show y'all
research on the Gullah Geechee
area, Carolina. Let's get into it. Tap in.
You ready?
They ain't playing though. You
research.
Nah, you ready for it? Yeah, maybe it's me.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You hear me?
You hear me? I don't hear the video.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm just making sure they don't hear it.
It ain't playing. It ain't playing.
We live out here now, so.
Can you hear me though, bro? Bro, can you hear me? Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you though. Hey, in the chat, can y'all hear me or Matt? Can y'all hear us?
You want to go out and come back in?
Yeah. Let me see what the chat say. Chat, tap in. Let me know. I know it's a little lag on here. Let me know. Oh, they say they hear both of us. It's you then, Matt. Yeah, hold on one second. Appreciate it, Trill.
Is the deepest research on the Geechee Gullah culture. In 1627, 43 years before Charleston was even colonized, Europeans brought enslaved Africans from West and Central Africa to Barbados. When they arrived, they were met by the island's indigenous people, the Arawak. After countless battles, the Europeans won. Then they forced the Arawak to speak English and turned them into prisoners of war. The Arawak were then forced to build Barbados.
working the sugar and rice systems. By the early 1600s, the people of Barbados were speaking English mixed with African and Arawak languages, what we now call Bajan Creole.
And it's not just phrases, it's the way that we say things, it's how we use the phrases.
Fast forward about 50 years, in 1670, the entire island spoke Bajan Creole. Around this time, Europeans, African slaves, and Barbadian prisoners of war began traveling to the southeast coast of America, to Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas. When they landed, they met the indigenous Ogeechee people. With the help of the enslaved Africans, the Barbadian prisoners of war, and the Europeans, they all eventually conquered the Ogeechee, forcing them to become slaves or prisoners of war. From there, black African slave, black Geechee prisoners of war, black Barbadian prisoners of war began building Charleston. The city literally rose from the same hands that built Barbados, which is why Charleston still resembles the island today. Once the slave market was established, Charleston became one of the most famous cities on earth. Forts and jails went up to keep outsiders out and insiders in. And being a peninsula surrounded by islands, much of the culture and the accent was preserved. The term Geechee comes from the Ogeechee tribes captured near the river were brought to Charleston slave market or jail. Gullah came from Africans brought directly from Angola or the Gullah people to Charleston. English was forced on Africans first in Europe, then in Barbados, and again in the Carolinas and Georgia. The Geechee Gullah accent formed from these layers, capturing tribes near the Ogeechee River, bringing Africans directly from Africa, and applying the Barbadian system to Charleston. Now, Barbados and Charleston don't sound exactly alike because Charleston absorbed the indigenous Geechee tongue, while Barbados retained the Arawak influence. That's the difference. This is the story of the Geechee Gullah accent and culture.
There was some good stuff in there though. There was some good stuff in there though. Barbados and stuff like that. But yeah. Charleston ain't got.
You see what Buddy say?
Doing short King Charles and all that shit, the timeline and all that. So it's cool. Somebody got that in their ethnogenesis. By the way, I ain't mad at it. Red Creole, soul wise. You know what I mean? It's a gumbo, but that's not gonna be necessarily true. You know what I mean? Geechee. So anybody in the chat real quick before we go in. You hear me, Monte? Mic check 1 2. Yeah, I hear me.
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Can I hear
It's on you. It's on you, yeah.
Is your mic on or is it me? Y'all, I'm making sure I'm tripping. Like,
it's you.
Coming back on here.
Hold on.
Damn, they tripping. That's crazy work. Hold on. Y'all hear me? Hold on.
They hear. Hey, y'all, hold on 1 second. We gonna work it out. We gonna work it out. All right, check. All right, man, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can always hear you. You couldn't hear me.
I don't know what that is, bro. I don't know why it's cutting me off from you.
It must be switched. Maybe the audio switch.
Yeah, like
to another device or something. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that's weird as hell.
But we good. We back. All right. So where we was at with it? Oh, buddy video.
Buddy, yeah, I was saying that buddy video, man. That's crazy work.
I mean, you know, they heavy Africans like it just be the whole. I look at the facts of what happened in Charleston, and what he was saying about the city and how it was booming. All facts. They was getting plenty of money out there because of the crops that they was cultivating in Charleston. That clearly the people there that was already there showed them what to do. They weren't so ingenious that they came there and just figured out this shit. You feel me?
Hell no, they didn't. So let's go to the clip. Pull up my joint. Let's go ahead and give it to him. Why? We gonna show why.
What was the Ogeechee? Let's see. Yeah, I think it was Ogeechee. Yeah, I got it.
Keeping the Geechee. Man, yeah, we gotta go make sure people see it. It took me off the screen. Y'all see me? Y'all hear me still, all right?
Nah, we good. I had to. I was trying to make it bigger, but it ain't gonna work.
Okay. All right, then hold on.
Let me see.
That's the biggest you gonna get it? Oh shit.
Yeah, because it's small. Hold on. Let me figure something out, bro.
It's the Ogeechee.
Yeah. It ain't gonna get bigger than this.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this for y'all then. Okay. I'm gonna give it to y'all like this then. Let me do it like this real quick. Send me this. Let me see if this works.
Yep.
Let me see if this worked for everybody. I don't know why it did that to me tonight, but hold on. Damn, why you do it like that though? All right, boom. Check this out. So the Ogeechee River, right, is tied in the Yuchi connection. By the way, maybe I might have to go to I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna pull up the source after that. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, yeah. Historical connection. Historical evidence indicates a substantial connection between the Yuchi, and you can spell that Y-U-C-H-I or U-C-H-E-E, people, and the Ogeechee River region. Researchers describe the Yuchi populations occupying areas between the Savannah and Ogeechee River systems. Homeland geography. The Ogeechee River corridor was part of a larger southeastern landscape that included Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee migration zones, and later Creek Confederacy territories overlapping. Name connection. Some researchers, such as ourselves over here at the party, suggest that the name Ogeechee may preserve a Yuchi, and I agree. I think it's tied to the Yuchi more than anything else. Before it evolved to knowing how we say keeping it Geechee, you know what I'm talking about? But however, the Yuchi and Yuchi can be spelled again Y-U-C-H-I or U-C-H-E-E. It's an ethnonym, you know what I mean? So we don't get it confused, all right? Traditions have linked Yuchi identities to descriptions such as water people or children of the water, dealing with the people when it's the Yuchi. That's in the area of what we call Georgia before it became known as Georgia, right? The people that were off the Ogeechee River, that were Geechee being the people that were tied to that area along with other groups of people. You see what I'm saying? Lowcountry development. The Ogeechee Basin later became part of the broader Lowcountry region. That's why we say it's Geechee, because it's Lowcountry. You know what I mean? Associated with plantation systems being marooned in certain settlements after what took place in the Creole situation of what took place. You heard me? And obviously the timeline. So that right there is what that right there. I'm reading that to y'all so that everybody can't get that the way it is. I'm gonna make sure I read it to y'all. You know what I mean? So let's go to this next. I'm gonna back it up with this.
Okay.
Back it up. Hold on.
Basically, what you're breaking down now is what already existed, what the area was called, before colonization really took off.
That part. That's exactly what I'm breaking down. That's the exact situation what I'm breaking down. You know what I mean? So, what's next on the joint?
Hold on.
That's exactly what I'm breaking down. And I got other names. I just want to use the Yuchi because the Geechee has to be broken down first to what I would think from the indigenous side of it. that their name is most tightly tied to, in how the development of the word Yuchi got into developing to being called Geechee, and then how we get the people who now in the ethnogenesis tied to the Royal African Company, who's bringing people for trade, rights systems, and certain things too, over here into that mixture of people tied to the Carolinas and everything too, if that's in your ancestry. But however the case, that is Gullah Geechee, you know what I mean, keeping the Geechee understanding.
Hey, read this one right here, man, while I find this link.
Shout out to the servant of the Most High. He say, yeah, brother, this is on point. He said, that's my own interpretation of that. We married into the Stewart line. One of the grandmothers married one of King James' sons. When the Bruce is my grandma. Oh, wait, is it King James' sons? When the Bruce is my grandfather. All right, that's what's up. Shout out to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shout out to you, servant of the Most High. I'm about to switch it over. Boy, it's raining like a mother.
Oh, yeah? I got a party going on next door. So, you know, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. All right, I'm plugging it up now. All right, you can see it?
Yeah, that's it right there.
The America's revealed.
Yeah. Marooned in America, we got to reveal it. The Genesis.
Yeah, let's see.
You see that Yuchi? See how I just said it to you, but there it is right there, though. Right there. See how it's spelled? Yuchi?
Yep.
Or Y-U-C-H-I. Depending on, you want to go with the newer. Yuchi would be newer, I think. And then Yuchi is the, you know what I'm saying? So, however, you slide up, though. I just want to read a little bit of this. Richard Thornton, he be getting it in. I'm trying to tell you, I need to go ahead and tap in with this man, the Appalachee. You know what I mean? Site he has here is something I've been on for a long time now, I should say. However, all references on the Yuchi people read pretty much the same. They're a mixture of half-cocked, it's funny, it says half-cocked, speculations about 19th, 20th century academians, I like how you say academians, who never met the Yuchi in their life. You know what I mean? It says, when the Yuchi descendants try to insert factual reference information into such references as Wikipedia, they are quickly deleted by Caucasian occultists. This goes hard. He going hard. You heard me? He ain't playing around.
Facts.
Said,
that's what bro just said in the chat, though. He said, listen,
right.
Let's do what he just said right here. He said, oh, watch this. He said, he just be taking some info from Wikipedia Geechee page. That's what basically what he said, the same thing.
Same shit, right? Hey, that's all. Hey, we ain't making it up. It is what it is. Yeah. See, now y'all see, it says the same type of people who in 2012 deleted all references to the Creek Indians and famous Creek towns in the history section of Wikipedia articles about all North Georgia counties. That is why there is no mention of the Etowah mounds. Etowah, excuse me, right. That's Etowah. I say Etowah. See, it was my bad. Etowah mounds, National Historical Landmark in a Wikipedia article of Bartow County, Georgia. Any attempt to reinsert the 3 original paragraphs on the Etowah mounds are deleted within minutes by an elderly man living in rural England. He describes himself in Wikipedia as the Purple Gatekeeper. That's some different.
What? That's crazy. Somebody need to get on his ass. Who do you think he is?
Who is this gatekeeper called Purple? Ain't Prince?
What's he the Purple Gatekeeper?
If you ain't Prince, I don't hear nothing about you saying nothing about purple. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna let you know that now. Let y'all know. You know what I mean? We can slide down though.
All right. But yeah, this Westmoreland.
Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah, because I'm right by all this.
I say, you see all this?
Yeah, Habersham County. Hey, listen. Habersham County. It's a black family in Macon, Georgia. Their surname is Habersham. No cap. They own the record store, a lot of stuff.
Well, you see what that is though. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, Westmoreland. I got homeboy. You know, that's his last name, by the way.
Yeah, that's an area in the 80s. Yeah, the Moreland. They got a lot of all this is on black. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I got a homeboy with the last name Westmoreland. For real, for real. At the same time, though, you know what I mean? You see, y'all see it though, where it's talking about the petrographs, Northeast Georgia, identical to Bronze Age Scandinavian. It's very interesting, all the things they take about ancient things they find in this region, you know what I'm saying? In this site right here. But you know what I mean? I'm right next to, you know what I mean? I want to go to this one right here. You slide down a little bit more before you pull it up.
Bruh, as I'm sitting here thinking, think about all the okay. Think about all the resources that Europeans found when they came to the South. You got Georgia and the Carolinas. Folks got gold. They called it. Then they had the Carolina gold, what they was calling the rice that they found. Then you got Louisiana with its crop, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. Bro, think about all the different types of shit that was just naturally popping. Every state had something special, at least one thing special, but a few of them had multiple things. You feel me? Natural, that they ain't have to do nothing but know how to cultivate the land to get it.
That's the whole part. That's the whole part.
That's why they try to make it seem like this whole worker, like you needed worker, bro. If you're a European who destitute, never had nothing, ain't gonna never have anything, and they tell you, boy, I heard them folk got gold out there, boy. They got as much food as you can eat. Who ain't trying to go?
Who's trying to go?
I'm on my way. What you talking about? I'm gonna try. It's better if I'd rather try that than knowing what I'm gonna get here. You feel me?
That whole part.
Hey, I'm just saying.
That whole part right there. So I want you to see it though. It's all in there like that. You know what I mean? They all call themselves the Shoya, which means children of the sun. Look right there. You see that? Right, children
right
of the sun.
Here. Look at this. The Yuchi are the oldest indigenous people in the southeastern United States.
That's what they're saying now. That's a bold statement for people to understand. The Ogeechee River, the Ogeechee is tied to the most. And I'm gonna tell you, because if anybody don't know about him, you know what I mean? Mr. Langley out of be Carolinas, you know what I mean? Allensdale, tied to the Yuchi. Since everybody talking about it right now, we're talking about the Yuchi. They got the key to the city along with the Amasi, but the Yuchi actually been there a long time. And you show you how homeboy described them to looking. I ain't saying they ain't wrong, but at the same time, I seen this people. They some dark skinned people. You know what I'm talking about? There's some dark skinned people. I mean, and they're like all black people in America don't look the same just because you dark skinned, by the way.
Big fact, yeah. We got different variations. You got people that super dark and got the hair of a Mexican.
You be like, what the hell?
Then you got people that dark hair is nappy as can be. You feel me? It's
Come on now, right? Like, so I'm not
got the wildest variations.
Right, I'm not gonna say that. You see what I'm saying? But he got that look. You know what I'm saying? Or that right there. I give it to him. And I'm talking about Yuchi. You know what I'm saying? But however, everything in this joint, though, y'all can check it out. But I gotta say, outside of it, even though they're the oldest one you pointed out, we got the Casabo. So some people today might Casabo. You know what I mean? That's CUSABO. You know what I mean? It's a broad colonial designation for multiple coastal peoples around Charleston as well. And Sea Islands, including groups such as the Edisto, that's EDISTO. You know what I mean? In that same region, the Kiowa, that's KIAWAH, you know what I mean? The Ituan, the ETIWAN, the Wando, the WANDO, the Stono, like the Stono Rebellion.
Stono Rebellion. That's all you about to say, yeah.
Yeah, the Ashiapo.
Hey.
There's a whole bunch of names I can name outside of Yuchi that's off the Ogeechee, but the Yuchi are tied to the Ogeechee River to keep it Geechee with y'all today as they partying over there right now, boy. Them Memorial Day people, they ready. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, so while I'm still on this train of thought, I wanna hit you with something. So you see right here, they say how the Yuchi families live in dispersed farmsteads, which essentially is just saying a plantation, like somewhere where you living on land that you cultivate, right? This is what they saying. So clearly there was a version of a plantation that already existed here, and we know the word plantation come from Europe, so they obviously had a system as well. So this whole thing, or a new whole system was created in America. You know that's false. Like these folks has been cultivating the land, bro. Why would they not? With all this around them, why would they not have taken the time to master that shit? That don't make no sense. You see what I'm saying? So this is showing the development. You know what I'm saying? So this is showing the clear development of what was already there. It seemed like the people that came from Europe just hopped in to the fold And it would be easier for people that look like them to be able to hop into that fold, which is where that delineation came between the early Europeans versus the Europeans who came after a certain time frame. Them was the ones beefing with each other. You feel me? So as we've been walking it down and breaking down every piece of it, it started to get clearer and clearer on where it really stands. Because once again, the people that would have mixed with the Yuchi people that was originally there at this time frame would have been these early inhabitants from the Royal African Company that would have gone directly into these places. And then we know right in the 1700s, you can go look at what the Lord Proprietor said. It was more melanated people than white people.
Come on now.
In the 1700s,
heavily
bro.
melanated people too. And it's a whole bunch of different groups of people that got like lumped into something. You know what I mean? Not just, you know what I mean? And then the confederacies at the same time that come about going into the development of the colonial. That's why people don't, all the names I mentioned just a minute ago are not going to get mentioned when people just bring up the 5 civilized tribes today, as if that's what everybody was calling themselves. And that's what people were dealing with at the time frame of the Royal African Company, and how these same names I was mentioning, indigenously speaking, were raiding other tribes and using them as commodity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To get things from the colonial society as well. I mean, like, you know, black on black crime ain't just African, you know.
You feel me?
But yeah, at the same time, you see it there though, that Yuchi. And you see that word Ista. You see Ista, right?
Yep.
ITSATE creeks, right there next to creeks right there, right? We showed y'all last week how them saying it was peoples up here in the same region, not just the Yuchi, that go back to the Itsamaya, which is a language that's found within the Masi and other groups, you know what I mean, that predated what we call today 5 civilized tribes, than what we call Muskogee language. You know what I mean? Hittichi language is tied to this. That's just a variation of it. I'm just letting y'all know. However the case, though, you know, you can go look it up if you didn't know. You know what I mean? Now you know. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You ready to take it to the next one?
Yeah, the next one, real quick. You know what I mean? Because I know it's Memorial Day weekend. I mean, we're going to make it up to y'all next week, going into the June. You know what I mean? This is the lady, by the way, that I have when I went to the Allendale, South Carolina. This is their site. You know what I'm saying? So I can't front on. You see how the lady look, right? Some of y'all got grandma a little similar, huh? Dark skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my daddy and mama, for sure.
Very much so. You be like, hold on, wait, say she African? Okay. All right. So, however, the Savannah River Band of the Yuchi. You see how I say Yuchi right there?
Yep. Yuchi and like of the stock. Yep. Yeah, I see.
You see it, right?
Yeah.
You see the maroon connection on the side over there on the right? Black Seminole historian, Black Seminole maroon connection, right?
Yeah.
Yuchi. You see what I'm saying? So off the Ogeechee, this is there's more other tribes that got to be. That's why we say indigenous to the region of the Ogeechee, keeping the Geechee. And in the Gullah, we already showed you where that word Gullah go back to. And see, that's where a thing might get, hey, wait a minute now. But at the same time, South Carolina Royal African, you see how royal, right? Recognized by the South Carolina Royal Colonial Government in 1750. You heard that? Timeline? Yep. Throughout the colonial period, the Yuchi people often established towns in close proximity to those of the Creek people, Muskogee, Yamasee, all right? But also were the sole occupants of some provinces. Yuchi towns and villages once existed in many locations throughout southeastern North America. Yuchi villages were also established in Florida, where they became political allies of the Seminole, the Creeks. Many Yuchi families were deported in the Indian Territory in the 1830s, along with the Creeks, and forced by the federal government to live in a section of the Creek Nation, despite repeated requests to have their own tribal identity. Ain't that some See, like, that's showing you that people are being absorbed, huh? Right?
Yep. Like as it kept happening and compounding and compounding.
They're compounding you, reclassifying you. Now you got to go underneath this to get recognized, and you can't be what your people say you traditionally were orally called, because now you got to be lumped into this reclassified system of colonial, society, who's considered civilized Indians, and they ain't talking about you just being, talking like white folk, or like the dude said, they spoke English. Nah, man, they talking about you enslaving other people. You know what I'm saying? And working that plantation lifestyle. You heard me? Good, bad, or ugly of it. However, Muskogee Creek Nation used the anglicized word. You see how that worked? Anglicized word, Yuchi, for this tribe's name. Bureau of Indian Affairs officials in Oklahoma used the word Uchee. But when the Uchee, the tribe of Oklahoma, applied for federal recognition, the BIA officials in Washington, D.C. struck out all references to Uchee and replaced it with Yuchi with the other spelling, the Y-U-C-H-I. You see how that worked?
Which legalese, it makes sense. So they can control, they know exactly what they're doing.
Right. So that's why I can say this for facts, because I was with the man that was in that picture right there. And his matriarch, when they got recognized with the key to the city, along with Sekou and his mother and his family that went up there too. They be recognized for this people that be considered Estelusti in this territory of Allensdale, South Carolina, dealing with the Sakahatchee War, 1865. So all that right there, that in context, I ain't gonna lie, all the people look like me, dark skin, in a small little town never been to before. However the case though, this site is tied to all the references of what took place in their ethnogenesis and how they've been reclassified, along with other groups of people, not just the Yuchi, because Yuchi could be also a large mixture of things too when you think about the area off the Ogeechee River. You know what I'm saying? So, in context, all the people being described through the Muskogee language as Estelusti don't necessarily all fit the Confederacy terms of being brought here from somewhere else, based off of that understanding. However the case, the Ogeechee River is something that people know today's history and urban understanding when we say Geechee and keeping it Geechee, or, the Gullah Geechee. And that corridor is way bigger than what he showed you too. You know what I mean? When you understand, I heard somebody say to us on Clubhouse, you said, Monte, in the Carolinas, they think of Wilmington, and they thought about North Carolina or something like that. That's the only place off the islands. Like, that's the only area that people tied to this terminology of Gullah Geechee are tied to, or the Geechee tie. Nah, bro. Geechee's in Georgia today. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what it is, though. Yeah, man. I want y'all to tap in what it is, though. Anything, that's really, I think I should land in when I come back next week, Sunday. I'm gonna go ahead and lay down. I wanted to make sure that was like a sub. We ain't seen y'all in a minute. I want to make sure I gave y'all a layout of certain things tied to that area. There's a lot more to it. But when we give you the next joint, you know what I mean? We're going to walk you into where we're going with this DNA and all this, you know what I mean? We got the doctor. Yeah. So we were the doctor around because of what happened. Mendoza, you know what I mean? We got her coming in June, you know what I mean? So I'm just warming y'all back up. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I ain't going to lie, boy, it's been a long week for me. I'm glad I got these days off. For sure.
Yeah. Hey, so
I'm working right now as I'm sitting here with y'all.
I always working.
For sure. That part. But either way.
So what you got for him? We're gonna end it off?
I mean, in the Carolina Genesis, I could do this. And this right here, right? Same thing. Because when I was with his family, the Yuchi and them, and Yamasi and them, right after I got the book. After I saw that, what happened, it made me very interested in this, again, this term, a Morgaragon.
Yeah, Morgarcons. Yep.
Yeah, you see that?
Blow it up. There you go. El Nombre de Diaz Amacaris.
Yeah. So you see the picture of how the people look, right? In the Carolina Genesis, right? Look. I showed y'all this last time, but I think people don't understand. This book kind of gave me a whole nother understanding of territories and when I'm looking at the people of color that are being reclassified today in their last names and certain things, and we go back in history and these names like the Shakora, you know what I mean, South Carolina, Principality, like that's another group of people that's tied to that area of the Carolinas that been there for a long time outside of the Yuchi is the Shakora, you know what I mean? The Wale, you know what I mean? Some people say the Geechee's tied to the Wale. Well, yeah, the Wale people were off the Ogeechee too. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a lot of, you know what I mean? Carolina, Georgia, Florida, things happening in the ethnogenesis of America. Oh, that's my dog right there. That's coconut water and tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, run that with me. You heard me? Yeah, margaritas and reefer though. Hey, you sitting there, I'm sitting there. We good. You heard me? Tap in. You heard me? But yeah, that's what it is though. On Memorial Day weekend, I really I would, as you see me do Carolina. Anytime you see Carolina, you're gonna see me bring this book out. And it's so much in here that I can give you all that I've researched. You know what I mean? Behind it, and obviously all these sources that we pull up now, and all the groups of people that are tied to these areas, and that's why. You can't just leave it and make it like a one group situation. You know what I'm saying? They're indigenous though, than the mother. You heard me? Than the motherfucker. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's only I really won't. I don't want to lead off and then for the next time. So
yeah.
This is from the last time we saw y'all. This is like something just to get us back in motion on the Sunday service that I felt like we didn't get to talk about in the last two shows from we did. So you know what I mean? This is me. Before we go into another state, another name that became an estate like Mississippi, I want to do Alabama. You know what I mean? I want to do Louisiana.
You gotta break them all down, bro.
Yeah, the colonial areas, how the name came about, what groups were in there, the indigenous, the French. We want to know. We all want to know too, right? Some of y'all surnames might be tied to different things because of this too. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to understand the context of what happened in the colonial time frame prior to United States of America even being formed, which means you predate foundational America. You know what I mean? Unless you just worry about taxation without representation, because y'all still ain't got it.
Yep.
How about that?
Still to this day.
You still ain't got. We really ain't still got taxation without representation. We got taxation. We're being taxed no matter what, but representation of it, like Paul Covey said, bitch. Hey. He was talking.
They the ones asking for new taxes. Yeah.
Now, y'all done flip the script now. See, like y'all done took it too far. Took it too far. Some people say far right, far left. Well, I'm autonomous, man. I ain't got time for neither one of y'all sides with that. At the end of the day, we being taxed, we gonna be taxed. It's the reality of the situation economically today in America and all the things going on in the trade systems internationally and how it impacts all the nations involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Outside of your family tree part. You heard me? And at the end of the day, some of y'all got children out there that are serving in all the different forces or private sectors dealing with all these things too as well. So like we got to keep it real about that too, even though we like to talk about history. But to be autonomous and the harsh reality of it, some of y'all be bullshit. And at the same time, I got to call it how I see it, because you let today y'all more Democrats or Republicans than trying to be autonomous for you and yours. You heard me? That's your business, not mine. You hear me? That's all I got to say about that. I mind my business as a Maroon in America, autonomously. And I appreciate everybody that's tapped in, and you tap into the party. You autonomous too. That's what we trying to get to. You hear me? But hey, if you see me in the wilderness of North America and you slowing me down, I done gave you the trail, but I ain't gonna babysit you.
Big facts.
You already know what it is.
Peace.
Peace.
Whenever I start to feel alone, I just play the voice loud that I say before things change. Now I read the message you sent, trying to tune out when you say I know you love me, but you should just forget about us.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
They cut the story into pieces. Told us pick one. They gave me a color, said live inside this. Found my name down, made it fit in their system. Whole bloodline got trimmed to a sentence. Now I'm looking in the mirror like something been missing. Got rivers in me, they never mapped out. Got names in my bones, they never let out. Every time I felt different, I was dead, right? They just buried the truth under headlines. split me up, then they labeled it clarity. Now we fighting over fragments of identity. If I'm everything, why they narrow me? I'm putting all my pieces back deliberately. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. I'm a blend they couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. This that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. Yeah. Feel that? That ain't confusion. That's memory. We've been walking around edited versions. Whole identity stuck behind curtains. Took the depth and traded it for surface. Now we searching for work than what they purchased. But I feel it when the rhythm hit different. Like my body recognize what's been hidden. Certain sounds make my spirit sit up like you've been here before. I can't forget it. They simplified us just to manage the narrative. Turned inheritance into comparison. But the truth don't break under pressure. Wait for the right ones to carry it. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. Yeah. I'm a blend that couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. Not the fraction. I'm the truth past the caption. On my blood in alignment. Say it plain. We not one note, we harmony. Now I move like I carry an archive. Every step got a past that survive. I ain't searching for self in they boxes. I rebuilt it from what they tried to hide. So when I speak, it's layered intention. Not just pain, it's full dimension. We don't need their permission. We remember, that's the mission. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. Don't dilute me. I'm a blend they couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. They told us pick one. We picked all of it. That's power.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Estelusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Beuchees. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folk. But you never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
Grandmama said the water holds secrets. Papers change, but the soul still speaks. Everybody loud now, nobody rooted. Whole generation hurting, acting like it's music. Gold chain shining, but the eyes look tired. Everybody online, but the spirit unplugged. Mama kept photos inside the old Bible. Faces half faded, stories gone silent. Somebody crossed oceans, somebody crossed swamps. Somebody got renamed, still the bloodline strong, yeah. Keep it easy, even when the world changed on me. Oh, keep it easy. River water run deep in me. Smoke in the air, choir in the distance. Old songs living inside my spirit. Hey. Keep it easy. Don't let them rename your soul. Keep it easy. Some things deeper than we told. Spanish moss hanging, every battle roadside. Church shoes tapping on the mold wood floors. Women still humming songs without names. Now men still praying low behind closed doors. Maybe that's survival, maybe that's the proof. We forgot the story, but still carry the truth. Creole hands cooking straight from memory. Funny how the rhythm still live naturally. Hey, keep it easy, even when the world changed on me. Oh, keep it easy. River water run deep in me. Yeah. Smoke in the air, choir in the distance. Old songs living inside my spirit. Hey, keep it easy. Don't let them rename your soul. Keep it easy. Some things deeper than we told. The river still remember. Even if we don't pay, yeah. They changed the papers, couldn't kill the rhythm. Change the language, couldn't stop the feeling. I don't need permission to know who I am. I can feel the truth moving through the drum line. Every church